You might want to take a look at the news right now.
Yes.
Have a good evening.
Location: Nigeria. Crime: money heist. And the suspect is a gorilla.
Hey!
It may sound like I'm pitching a new King Kong movie, but this actually happened. The year is 2019 in Nigeria, and On the Low is the biggest song in the country. Our interest is specifically on July during the Salah celebrations. During such holidays, families like to visit zoos, beaches and theme parks. One similar destination is KANO Zoo, the largest zoo in Nigeria. It's no surprise that it was packed during the celebrations. And since there's a gate fee, the zoo during the 5 days of Salah festivals made 6.9 million naira, which is $14,000. However, on June 9th, it was discovered that the money the zoo made during the celebrations was missing.
How many times would they tell you before you know that Nigeria is not for you?
When confronted on the missing money, the finance director gave a very comical story. A Veracious Gorilla sneaked into the offices, stole 6.9 million naira and ate it.
I don't mean it metaphorically or rhetorically or poetically or theoretically or in any other fancy way.
10 of the zoo staff members, including the man who came up with the story, that is the finance director, were arrested. The main reason why the gorilla theory was dismissed right away is because in their 50-year history, the zoo has never hosted a gorilla. Though it is important to note, however, that the zoo does keep other species of monkeys.
Those are mandrills. We should go.
So probably the finance director might have confused them with a gorilla.
I doubt it.
If it's not the big monkey, then who stole the money? According to the zoo's managing director Umar Kobo, he received a call on the midnight of June 9th. Upon picking the call, it was the head of the security at the zoo. He was told that armed robbers broke into the zoo and stole the money. The director then went back to sleeping and woke up 6 hours later, that is 6:30 a.m, and headed to the zoo. It was until he got there when he called the police station.
That's suspicious.
The managing director went on to dismiss the gorilla story. So where did the gorilla story come from? The early records of the gorilla story can be traced on 10th June, a day after the heist when it was aired by the Freedom Radio. However, the head of the current affairs at Freedom Radio, Nasiru Salisu, I hope I'm saying that right, disagreed and said, quote, "We challenge anybody who claimed we broke the gorilla news to come out and prove it." End of quote. And although we may never know where the gorilla story originated from, the main mystery remains who stole the money. Was it an inside job? Was it the robbers? Or did the gorilla have a hand in the heist? This is one of the many animal heist stories to come out of Nigeria. In 2018, the Joint Admissions Matriculation Board discovered that 36 million naira, which is almost $1,000, was missing. When their sales clerk, Philomena, was interrogated about the whereabouts of the missing money, according to Fabian Benjamin, the spokesman for JAMB, she gave a very interesting story. "I had kept the money in a vault. In February of 2018, my housemaid and my colleague used a mysterious snake to steal the money.
Jesus is Lord. How do we hear of this?
Maybe due to embarrassment and mockery online, Philomena later told CNN that the snake story was just a fabrication. Almost a month after the snake fiasco, the Deputy Senate President announced that Abdullahi Adamu has been removed as the chairman for Northern Senators Forum. Responding to the questions on why the senator was removed, Mr. Sani said that it was rumored that Abdullahi, when interrogated about the missing 70 million naira, he blamed it on a group of monkeys who, if you can believe it, raided the farmhouse where the money was stored and ran away with the cash. Who?
He was just a monkey.
Adamu, like the rest, refuted the claims. The trend never seems to die because a few months ago, one of the biggest animal heists in Nigeria went down. They stole documents worth 17 billion with a B, which is equivalent to 36 million US dollars. And I know what you're probably thinking. It's a big scary animal like a lion or a gorilla. And that is where you go wrong, because the animals responsible are mere termites.
Not be juju be that.
In 2022, the Nigerian Social Insurance Trust Funds was under scrutiny when it could not justify the billions spent in 2013. When confronted to justify the spendings of the money, they claimed the documents were missing. When pressed on their whereabouts, the managing director Michael said, and I quote, "The container the said documents were kept by past management has not only been beaten by rains over the years, but even possibly eaten by termites." End of quote.
You will move out. You will move out of this house.
So, do you believe in these stories? Do you think they are just a mere